What's going on, guys? It's been a while since I've dropped a video, so it's a little strange being on camera again, but we'll try to get through this. So in this video, I wanted to do a channel update, right, on where I've been, what happened to the channel, you know, what I've been doing this whole time, and basically, you know, what direction the channel is going to be going, because I am coming back to YouTube. I think you all already know, right? The topic itself was always under attack to the point where a lot of us find this unsustainable on two fronts, actually, both the content creator side and the business side. So we'll start with the content creator side first, okay? To my understanding, basically, they don't want you to promote the prolonged use of vaping. That's that, right? So a lot of us have stopped talking about this topic entirely, because what ended up happening is that it's not so much about the demonetization. I personally enjoyed doing videos, especially the videos I really liked doing with, you know, educational stuff as far as experimental things, right? Deep diving different, you know, brands and items. So the problem was that new rules keep coming out and these regulations keep on applying to your work in the past, right? So many of us who have hundreds of videos on our channels now have to go through a huge undertaking of working out, you know, the problems with stuff out or edit it some way. And that's just a huge task, right? So the issue on top of this is that you're going to get channel strikes. And if you get channel strikes, then it's just going to make everything that you do pointless, because you can't upload videos anymore. And if you do, you're just going to get banned. So what's the whole point? The whole topic itself and regulation in so many ways, it just hurt the topic so much that it's just kind of unsustainable for us. On the business aspect of it, right? A lot of you probably didn't know this, but there's a lot of companies that are unwilling to work with you. For example, if you had some kind of e-commerce website, right? One of the things that you definitely need is merchant services or credit card processing. And companies like PayPal, like Stripe, they don't want to work with you because they don't want to have anything to do with tobacco related products. Another thing was about promoting the items, right? You can't do Facebook ads, you can't do Google ads, you can't do a lot of things because, again, they don't want to have anything to do with our industry, right? And plus, you know, recently I even watched a video done by Big Lou. Shout out to my boy Big Lou, actually. He was talking about how these days all the flavors and these kind of regulations that made e-liquid itself banned in New York, to the point where he had to buy his e-liquid off the black market. Dude, that sounds like crack. That's so crazy, you know what I mean? And from where we came from, we never thought like something like this would happen, but you know, finally it's here today, and you know, it's really sad, but for many of us creators, like kind of just have to walk away from it. So what vaping meant to me was that it was always a means to an end, right? So the idea before vaping was like, you know, you had options like the gum, the patch, Chantix, but you're not trying to be on the gum or the patch forever, right? The whole point was to get off of smoking, but I didn't want to just trade one bad habit for a new habit, right? Even though, you know, vaping was more enjoyable, especially with the flavors and stuff, but cigarettes was always expensive, right? If you considered the habit of, you know, constantly buying packs after packs after packs is expensive, then vaping is really not that much cheaper. So again, for me, it has always been a means to an end, and I didn't really see that with many of the other channels, but definitely for me, like I think you guys already knew, towards the end of like my content creation making, I started to vape a lot less on camera, to the point where like I didn't need to at all. And to be honest, I'm really enjoying my freedom from the whole thing. We talk a lot about not giving another dime to big tobacco, right? But at the same time, if you could also no longer have to spend any money on any of this stuff, period, right? Would you take that option? And for me, that was always the goal. So the next thing was just about being a reviewer, okay? If we're being completely honest, man, reviewing products, it was just not fun after a while, okay? It was really exciting in the beginning because new stuff were coming out all the time. But then at some point it started to plateau, and when it plateaued, it really made me very jaded as a reviewer because there was just too many things coming out all at once at the same time, and factories kept on pumping out Me Too items, meaning that like if somebody did something new and that was actually revolutionary, actually good, then it would be copy after copy after copy. For example, the first time sub tanks came out, right, where they had like the replaceable cores that you could do actual lung hits off of. When that came out, a lot of people thought that they were game changers. We all started doing reviews and item spotlights about it. And then what happens is that, you know, every single company had to come out with their own version of it. So copy, 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 right? The thing about doing an item review with you guys is that like it's still at some point, it's still in some form a type of storytelling, right? So only two ends of the spectrum is actually fun for the creator side, right? And one of it would just be, okay, this item is really cool, really awesome. I want to show you guys, everything that I've learned from it. This is so awesome. Here's where to get it, etc., etc. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Or the item is just terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. And now, this whole video is going to be a slam video, which is, both entertaining and comical, right? So for me, one particular story comes to mind, which was Smoke Tech. If you remember, they came out with this technology, which was a smartphone app. So now I have this app on my phone that's in my right hand that's remote controlling the mod on my left hand. Let's go. I don't know. It was one of the strangest ideas I've ever seen, right? And it was stuff like that I'm definitely come back and tell you guys that we're gonna laugh about it. And those videos were fun. But the problem is that like 90% of the products, because they were just Me Too copy-ish items, what ended up happening is that you're starting to make a lot of videos where, okay, this new item, I just received it for review and it's all right. The features, it's fine. How does it taste? How does it work? How does it perform? It's okay, it's fine. And then good night, everybody. And then we turn off the camera. So that was really not fun. And at some point, doing video after video of it just became absolutely torturous. So again, another reason why just the topic itself was unsustainable. So where have I been and what have I been doing? Well, actually, the whole time of doing this channel, right, I have actually never quit my day job, right? And what I do normally is I'm one of those eBay, Amazon guys, those passive e-commerce people, and I will be dropping a couple of videos on exactly what it is I do, what do I sell, and how do I do it. So if you're interested in learning any of those things, you gotta stay tuned for that. Yeah, but other than that, I've mainly just been enjoying my freedom, right? Because I no longer am dependent on either the cigarettes or the vaping. And I remember that in the past there has been quite a few questions of people asking me exactly how I did it and how I got there, because I'm sure there's some of you out there who want to know exactly how to be on the road to complete freedom, and I'll talk about that right now. Okay, so if we're being completely honest, there's really no easy way around it. It's going to be a combination of stepping down your milligram strength plus some willpower. Okay, and what I mean by that is that when you step down from your milligram strength, whether you're at 12 to 6, 3, 0, what tends to happen is that if you're going to step down on the juice, you're going to be vaping more, right, in order to try to maintain the same kind of satisfaction. And what you really need to do is to fight that. So if you're coming down from 6 milligram to 3 milligram, right, that doesn't mean that like once you step down to 3 milligram that you're going to vape twice as much, because then you're just putting the same amount of milligrams into your body. What we need to do is really understand what willpower really is so that you're able to do this. So let me explain willpower in a way that's more digestible, okay? Have you ever played any video games where you had like a health bar or a mana bar? Think of yourself having a willpower bar, right? So you only have so many points every single day. We all do, right? And when you think of it like that, then you realize that like, okay, it's not so much that we're on a spectrum, right? Because we're all pretty much have the same amount of willpower, but it's just how much that we have to resist in a day before we're just absolutely depleted. And that's what's going to make the difference between being disciplined and not disciplined. When I was younger, and then you would go out with your friends, bowling alleys, pool halls, bars. This was, you know, for me in the 90s and the early 2000s, where, you know, you just weren't banned from smoking cigarettes in pool halls, bars, bowling alleys. These would all be places that smoking goes hand in hand, right? There's no way we're not going bowling or shooting pool or having a few beers without having a couple of cigarettes. So these are sacrifices that I actually had to make. What did I end up doing? I ended up just avoiding going to pool halls, avoiding going to bowling alleys, and avoiding going to bars as much. Sure, yeah, it sucked, but I had something to get over. These days now, I'm finally, after so many years of fighting cravings and temptations and your addictions, that I'm actually finally able to have a couple of beers and not crave any type of vaping or cigarettes. So I know that this is going to be super difficult because if anything, I recall that a lot of us used to have a cigarette after food, right? So there's no way you're going to quit eating. So that's exactly what I'm talking about with the willpower, right? If you're having a really bad day, all that stress is going to eat into your willpower for the rest of the day. And that's exactly why, right? When you had a bad day, then you're going to what? You're going to go, have a drink, have a couple of smokes, right? Maybe even eat your feelings, something like that. It's all these bad habits that you're just going to finally give into because you've just gone through way too much stress, cravings, temptations in a whole day. So what I'm suggesting is that you try to minimize all these things in your life first so that you have enough willpower in your meter every single day to fight through this. Put together a plan, step down your milligrams, and you will get there. So where's the channel going from this point on? Well, it's very simple. I just want to start doing videos that I like, topics that I enjoy, and probably once again, educational videos on things that I'm actually pretty knowledgeable about. So if you always found me insightful and you enjoyed my deep dives, then you could expect that same kind of energy brought to other topics. But after this, I hope you all can understand that we're just going to unapologetically move forward with other topics. I hope you all stick around. I'll see you then.